Today's video is brought to you by Raycon. Go to buyraycon.com/swell for 15% off your order. Every time I make a video like this, I'm fairly certain that I'm just inching my name closer and closer to a Hollywood blacklist. But I just can't help myself. Quibi is the gift that keeps on giving to everyone except for the people who actually work at Quibi. That's it. That's my intro. Hi, I'm Amanda, and you're watching Swell Entertainment. This is the closest thing to Quibi Purple that I own. I was trying to assert dominance, but I realize now that I look like I'm trying to sneak onto the set of Camp Rock. First week of July marked the end of Quibi's 90-day free trial that it started at launch, which was the trial that I was a part of. Originally, I was going to do a video that same week, but I am so glad I waited because it was announced that Quibi lost 92% of its user base after the 90-day free trial ended. Quibi launched April 6th, but between April 6th and April 8th, they had close to 1 million people download the app for the free trial. Of that 900,000-ish downloads from those first 2 days after the free trial ended, they retained about 72,000 users from that period. To put that into perspective, more people watched my video about Quibi's launch than are currently paying for Quibi after their 90-day free trial. God, I totally get why this goes to people's heads. I feel powerful. Now, obviously, once these numbers came up, a Quibi spokesperson came forward and was like, this is not true, this is not correct. We've had close to 5 million downloads since the app's launch. They also didn't explain if they count individual downloads or if they count individual accounts on there. Like, for example, I downloaded the app onto my phone and then also my iPad. Is that then counted as 2 user accounts even though they're both on the same account? At the time of me recording this, they have not disclosed the current active number of users, not just since launch, but entirety. But if that changes, I will input it here. And that 72,000 users who are still signed up after the 90-day trial is most likely going to go down because a lot of people were just automatically charged their iTunes account. I'm not familiar with Google Play, so I can't attest to how that works, but I know Quibi tried to automatically charge my account, but I did see a lot of people sharing on Twitter that they were automatically charged. There are a lot of people who did pay the $4.99, which is the base cost for a subscription to Quibi, and then $7.99 without ads. There are a lot of people who are paying that $4.99, but next month that number is going to go down because now they know to turn that off. I'm not a slave to the YouTube algorithm, but I am heavily influenced by it, and so I knew, because my first Quibi video did so incredibly well, that I was most likely going to be doing another Quibi video after the launch. So before I lost access to my account, I started going through a couple more shows and seeing if they had updated anything. But before we move forward, let me tell you about this video's sponsor, Raycon. Raycon was co-founded by Ray J and is loved by celebrities like Snoop Dogg and Cardi B. I do a majority of my editing from my bed when my desk is a mess like it is currently. I spend hours editing a video, and because I live with my dad and my brother who both don't seem to know the meaning of the phrase indoor voices, earbuds are necessary. Because I wear glasses, headphones are just too uncomfortable to wear for long periods of time, and wireless earbuds are the way to go for me. They're good looking, comfortable, and discreet. They start at about half the price of other wireless earbuds on the market, and the sound quality is amazing and matches that of other top brands. I use them for editing, but they're also great for when I go to the grocery store or go for a jog because I don't have to worry about wires getting tangled up in my mask. The compact carrying case can charge the earbuds 4 times on a single charge. Their everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet, with 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and more compact design that gives you a nice noise isolating fit. Go to buyraycon.com/swell for 15% off your order. One thing that I and a lot of other people complained about Quibi was that there was no other way to watch it than on your phone. And that was their whole thing, is they wanted to be the streaming service for people on the go, mainly for millennials who wanted to watch things in bite-sized chunks. There are things you say and then you just immediately want to take a nap, and that's one of them. So Quibi was originally going to be the streaming service that was strictly on your phone, and their whole thing was that you could watch it in landscape or portrait mode, which was cool for a little bit, but it got old. A lot of people complained that there was no way to, connect your TV to your Quibi and watch things on TV or watch them on a computer or watch them with multiple people. If I wanted to watch a Quibi with someone, we'd have to be huddled over a phone, which may seem good in practice, but also we're trying to social distance, so that's not going to work out. I also pointed out in my video that there was no way to screenshot or share clips or GIFs or anything from the shows on Quibi. A lot of apps do this, where when you take a screenshot of something on Netflix or Disney Plus, the screen goes black in your camera roll. You can't screen record on your phone. The thing is, though, is that a lot of these other platforms have the capability of doing this. I can screen record something from Netflix and use it for a video on my computer. Same with Disney Plus. Couldn't do that on Quibi because Quibi was only available on my phone, so I couldn't share GIFs from Nikki Fresh. I couldn't show screen caps from Survive or Most Dangerous Game if I wanted to, because I had no option to. A lot of what seemed to be the goal with Quibi's content wasn't just like, let's do something new, was let's make something insane so people have no choice but to watch it on our platform. That was the case with Murder House Flip, Nikki Fresh, the show Dummy, where Anna Kendrick befriends her boyfriend's sex doll. Anyway, a lot of things on Quibi are better shown than explained. And so not having the ability to share things from the shows was definitely an inhibitor for Quibi. In my opinion, a big part of marketing for current day is people sharing screen caps and everything from your show. There are plenty of shows that I had never heard of before, and then I saw a GIF set on Tumblr, and I was like, oh wait, that actually looks like really cool. I'm gonna go check it out now. Yes, I'm on Tumblr. There's no point trying to find my blog. All I do is reblog stuff. But a lot of the complaints for Quibi was that there was no way to use Chromecast or AirPlay to cast it onto other devices, and then also that there was no way really to share anything from the shows individually onto social media. I'll be honest with you, prior to getting ready to shoot this video, I did not touch Quibi since my last video. Once I was done doing that, I was done. Even the shows that I was interested in watching just didn't draw me in enough to just keep checking the app and watching 8 minutes at a time. It wasn't enough to hold my attention, really. And that has nothing to do really with the length of the Quibi. It's not like, oh, let's make them shorter. No, a lot of the shows just weren't utilizing the limited time. It's not like I woke up and I was like, yay, there's a new episode of this next show that I want to check out. But even though I wasn't actively using Quibi, I was still getting the emails from Quibi. Most of the emails that I got were talking about what's popular this week, what people are watching this week, and almost every single time they just showed me more of The Most Dangerous Game. I love the premise of The Most Dangerous Game. I love the initial story, but I'm sorry, the Liam Hemsworth version, I got bored 3 episodes in. Did he win? Did he survive? I don't know, and frankly, I really don't care. Before I move on about the Quibi email, something I want to point out is that their Explore page wasn't set up the best. I feel like especially for an application that's specifically designed for the phone, your Explore page needs to be very concise and functional and easy to navigate. And I felt like with Quibi, it was hard to find things that were new, actually things that didn't just have a new episode and were in fact like a new show. And as far as I could tell, there was nothing that showed like, oh, this one is all completely out. Eventually on Quibi, they did add like a 1 of 8 type of thing where they showed that how many episodes there actually were going to be for that particular Quibi, but it didn't tell you how many of that Quibi were currently available. It just showed you which one you were on. So say you were on episode 3, then episode 3 of 8 would be shown, but it didn't actually show how many were available. So if I wanted to find shows that were just all completely out, there really wasn't a way that I could see that I could find those shows. So the episode numbers were something that was added post my initial review of Quibi. This article from May 27th is talking about Quibi giving its users the ability to cast things to their TV using AirPlay for iPhone users, and then Android was going to be getting the same capability later on in June. It wasn't until June 17th, though, that I even got an email notifying me that this change had been made. So if I wasn't actively using Quibi in this time, and I'm sure a lot of people may not have been, a lot of people probably weren't aware that this was an update that had been made, and so by the time they saw this email and the follow-up email that came out on July 1st, they probably had already made their decision of whether or not they were going to buy the subscription for Quibi. One, that was way too late of a change. Does it take time to make adjustments? Absolutely. If they had the ability to make casting available sooner, they should have done so. I feel like by the first week of July, with 6 to 8 days left in your trial, you already know whether or not you're going to spend $4.99 or $7.99 a month on Quibi. Your mind is made up already. This was way too late of a change to try and sway anyone who wasn't sure if they were gonna subscribe to Quibi or not. Same with the social sharing features. I didn't get a chance to play around with those before I lost access to my account. Katzenberg, the founder of Quibi, blamed a lot of the app's failings on the current pandemic and saying that that is what accounted for all of the issues with the app and why they're not having the best success. I know in my first video I mentioned that this is probably going to have a contributing factor and that it probably isn't going to help things with Quibi. Let's face it, they were targeting millennials on the go, and no one's on the go right now. They launched in April. I personally think they maybe should have tried to launch sooner, but hindsight's 2020 and all that. Oh god, yeah, hindsight being 2020 for 2020 is to just skip 2020, just skip right on over. Originally I did say because of the shutdown that this was actually going to be really bad news for Quibi. Now that we are 4 months into quarantine, I do change my mind. I think that Quibi was posed to do quite well because of the pandemic, regardless of who they're targeting. The amount of people, especially now, that have run out of stuff to watch is pretty staggering, and you're not looking in the right places. There's plenty of stuff to watch. I know we all want new things, but we really got to stop asking for things to come out just on video on demand now, because I really would like to be able to go to a movie theater at some point in the future. I know right now it's not happening, but in the future I would like to. Quibi at launch had a good amount of content on its platform, and then it started adding, I think, 2 new shows a week for at least another month. People are begging for content. Quibi could have done quite well. And even now, it could be seeing a resurgence. In my first Quibi video, I said that one of the main downfalls that Quibi was probably going to experience because of the pandemic was going to be the fact that they were going to run out of content for the app because nothing was being shot in this time. I really want to know whose idea it was. I just want to know. I'm not mad. I just want to know. I want answers, because I want to know who at Quibi, probably Katzenberg, had the gall to think, oh, I know. We'll do what no one's done before. We'll go where no one's gone before in media, in entertainment. We will remake The Princess Bride. Do you know why no one's remade The Princess Bride? Because it would be a flop. The internet would make sure of it. It doesn't matter who you cast as who, how perfect anything is. The internet would make sure that that movie burned for trying to ruin perfect cinema. Quibi put out home movie The Princess Bride. It is a collaborative effort of a bunch of actors filming themselves in their own homes and recreating scenes from The Princess Bride, where they're all edited together and released in Quibis. It was done for charity, which I do think is commendable. I've seen a lot of people saying really great things about Quibi's A Princess Bride. Who's paying you? I just want to know. It is essentially a shot-for-shot remake of The Princess Bride, except it's starring actors in their own homes, in their own costumes that they've managed to pull together themselves. There wasn't a set cast for the whole movie. I'm not sure how they did casting, if the director reached out to them all individually, like, okay, who do you want to play? Or, hey, we want you to do Buttercup for these scenes. We need you to record these scenes in portrait mode. You made me watch things in portrait mode. Good deal of the time, there's not even a set cast per episode per Quibi. There's not a whole lot of consistency. It's not terrible. It is a shot-for-shot remake. Some of them are taking it way more seriously than others, so it's your standard group project, except most of the people involved in the group project have all been nominated for various awards for their acting. Some of them made props, some of them made their own costumes, a bunch of them just kind of did like a hodgepodge together costumes, which I don't have a problem with the like pulling together costumes. Like, I'd be way more questioning if they all had like big budget costumes in this, but I think it's kind of fun that they did just kind of do whatever they could. I also did really think it was sweet when the actors did involve their kids in the tapings, and also I very much liked all of the Lego shots, because they did that for like the boat scenes, establishing shots and all of that, because obviously you can't really do that when everyone's social distancing. I really want to know who did all the Lego shots, and outside of Quibi, the only way I can see Hollywood being able to do a remake of The Princess Bride is if they did it in a Lego movie form. I'm going to complain about the format because I hate portrait mode. Quibi's claim to fame is that whether you want to watch your stuff in portrait or landscape mode, the view of what you're watching changes to adapt to whatever you're watching. Most of the times it just zooms in, sometimes it shows you different views of what's going on, but not often. For Quibi's home movie, A Princess Bride, what it would do is that if you wanted to watch the movie just full screen, you had to watch it in portrait mode. There was no other way to watch it full screen. If you tilted it into landscape mode, then you would see the same amount of what you'd see in portrait mode, stills from the original Princess Bride, followed by who is playing the role in the home movie and who originated the role, which I do like, but I feel like also there should be a way to just watch it in landscape mode, because I hate portrait mode. I agree with paying homage to the original cast and everything, but I really don't like portrait mode. I don't know what the new numbers are for Quibi. A month ago, prior to the free trials ending, it was announced that Quibi was most likely going to look at needing at least like $100 million in fundraising on top of the $1.7 billion that they were able to raise for the startup itself, because of the limited success that they were having. I have no idea what they're going to have to raise now, since they lost a majority of their user base. I believe that $100 million was for the projections for that current user base, meaning that a majority of the people on the 90-day trial were included in that for future projections. A majority of those users are now gone, so I would love to know what they think this is gonna need to fundraise in order to stay operational. I give Quibi another 6 months. Actually, no, I'll be generous. Let's go 9 months. That's gonna be it. Did you watch my last Quibi video? Did you download Quibi? Are there any shows on Quibi that you actually like? Are there any shows that you don't want Quibi to remake? Let me know. Comment down below. Shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for supporting my Patreon. If you'd also like to support my Patreon, the link will be listed down below. If you'd like to follow me on my social media, that'll be all up here. And that's gonna be it. Have a lovely day. Goodbye. It's the end of Final Jam. I'm sorry. This is real. This is me. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I really am.
Thank you, Adam, Alan, Elise, Brighton, Byung, Cameron D, Christopher, Chris, Cody, Colton, Crash, PC, Don, Elliot, Aaron, Essen, Evan, Feckless, Hopeless, Jason, John, M, Jonathan, Jordan, Joseph, Kenneth, Kenny, Kevin, Kim, Lee, Lisa, Manga, Matt, Matthew S, Meme Lord the Red, Michael J, Nathaniel, Pat, Krylock, Rob, Robert, Ross, Sam, Simon, Stefan, Timothy, Tom, Victor, Wendy, Williams, Undry.